News Channel 5 on your side presents Kaleidoscope, focusing on people who make a difference in Northeast Ohio communities.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast today. Good to have you with us. Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation hosts its annual Scholarship and Awards Gala on Saturday, November the 7th. Its president, Ronald Johnson Jr., and Gala chair, Angie Eichelberger, are here to tell us all about the event and about the 2015 Black Professional of the Year. Later on, we'll hear from Laura Saracen of Cornerstone of Hope and Marcella Boyd Cox of the E.F. Boyd and Son Funeral Home. They'll share information about Children's Grief Awareness Day. And on the broadcast after that, the program executive director of Cleveland MOTEP, Linda Kimball, and advisory board member and kidney donor Tanya Howard Grace will tell us about that organization's 20th anniversary celebration. It is set for Saturday, November the 14th. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. As always, good to have you with us, too. Good to have two good people here. Angie Eichelberger, honorary chair for the BPACF Gala, and Ronald V. Johnson, Jr., president of the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation. Good to have you with us.
Thanks.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Refresh us, Ronald Johnson, about what the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation, what it does.
Well, we are about really one thing, and that is to send our African-American students from Northeast Ohio off to college to provide them financial support in the form of scholarships, connect them with opportunities, career opportunities, help them expand their networks so that they can become professionals of their own right once they complete their education. That's all we're about. That's our primary mission, and everything that we do is in that regard.
We raise a lot of money because it is all going to a good cause.
Absolutely.
Getting kids educated. The Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation. You're the honorary chair of this year's event. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see for November in 2015.
So one of the great things that's exciting for this year is that we are going to recognize an individual who's done a lot of work with regards to eliminating health disparities, Dr. Charles Motlin from Cleveland Clinic. And he's one of the first physicians to be recognized with this honor by the Black Professionals Association.
We've got his picture right on the screen here. As you can see, it's going to be Saturday, November the 7th. Good guy, Dr. Charles Motlin, over at Cleveland Clinic.
Absolutely.
You're one of the urologists over there, as I recall.
That's right.
You selected him because he's a good guy. Isn't that right, Ronald Johnson?
We selected him because he's a great guy. We selected him because of his work that he does in support of our community with the Minority Health Clinic and the Minority Health Fair. We selected him because he believes in what we believe in, which is the advancement of our young people in higher education. The work that he does with the clinic to support higher education for young folks falls right in line with our mission, and so we're very honored to recognize Dr. Motlin for his hard work.
Well, this organization is very special for me, the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation. You gave me the award last year.
Very deservingly so. We had a great time last year.
In 2014, and the award you gave me is in a special spot in my home right now, and I think about it all the time, and I'll be there for Charles Motlin's event too. So it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. How long have we done this now? It's about 40 years, I guess, we've been doing this, right?
Roughly about 40 years.
Every year we select somebody.
That's correct.
Oh, tell us about the scholarship program now, where this money goes, and specifically and who gets this money, and what colleges we've seen the kids go to.
I think Ronald probably can better answer that question for me, but I know it's a great opportunity.
It's vital.
It's vital for all students.
And you want to be associated with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell me about that, Ronald.
So, so our scholarship program grows. It's been growing more and more every year. The size of our program, meaning the number of recipients, really depends on how much money we're able to raise through our efforts. But our young people, most of whom are first-generation college students, so we're very pleased to be able to support those students. And they go off to colleges everywhere. Some are local at Cleveland State, at Baldwin-Wallace University. Some go down to Central State or Wilberforce. Some go down to the Carolinas, or they're down in Georgia. So our students, you know, they can go anywhere. Last year, we were able to award scholarships to about 50 students, and so we're very pleased to be able to do that.
So we need people to go to the Scholarship and Awards Gala because that's how we raise the money. We raised a whole bunch of money last year.
Yeah. Now, we would love for people to come to the gala, and certainly that's what we're here to promote. For some, some people may not be able to attend. They may have other commitments. They're always willing, or we're always willing to accept any contribution, so they can certainly visit us at our website to even donate some funds, even if they can't attend the gala.
Yeah, we got the website on the screen right there, bpacf.org. It means Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation, bpacf.org, or you can telephone 216-229-7110. What's it going to cost to attend this event, Angie Eichelberger?
It's $150 to attend. It's a black tie affair, 4-course meal, and a great opportunity to support the scholars that will benefit.
And once again, it's going to be Saturday, November the 7th,
Correct.
at Executive Caterers at Lander Haven, which is in Mayfield Heights on Lander Road, right at Lander Haven Road, 6111 Lander Haven Road. Once you get in the area, you'll see it. It's a huge, wonderful, wonderful thing. Leave us with a thought on why you think this is so vital that we participate in this. And of course, if you can't go, you can always write a check, which
right.
I usually do. I just write a check and I go anyway. And I write a check for more than the cost of the event for me. But why is this so vital?
Well, as we mentioned before, to support area students in Northeast Ohio, it's very key that we provide the financial support to students so that they can be able to progress through college and be successful.
And once again, it's Dr. Charles Modlin. You want to leave us with a thought on your thing? You've been with this for years now, Ron.
I have. So, we're trying to solve a couple of different issues. One is to bridge the economic gap among African Americans in terms of education. We believe that education is a key to success. And, I was just pulling up some statistics and noted that for unemployment rates in 2014, unemployment for folks with less than a high school degree was about 9%. For those with a professional degree, it was 1.9%.
So we can make some inroads right here.
So we can make some inroads right here, right here.
Okay, we've got to end it right there. But once again, it's going to be Saturday, November the 7th at Executive Caterers at Lander Haven, saluting Dr. Charles Modlin of Cleveland Clinic. He's a wonderful, wonderful medical doctor, and it's a scholarship awards. You see the address on the bottom of the screen and the telephone number, bpacf.org. Many thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Johnson and Angie Eichelberger. And thanks again for last year. I had a wonderful time.
Good.
Nice to be saluted. Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
take a break. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. Children's Grief Awareness Day is November the 19th. It is a day to set aside to recognize the needs of grieving children and provide them with support. Laura Saracen is Children's Program Coordinator at Cornerstone of Hope, and Marcella Boyd-Cox is Chief Marketing Officer at the E.F. Boyd & Son Funeral Home. They're here to tell us more about this special day for children who have lost loved ones. Let's begin with you, Laura Saracen. Tell me, you work for Cornerstone of Hope. What does it do?
Cornerstone of Hope is a nonprofit bereavement center. We offer grief, individual counseling, support groups for children, teens, and adults who have experienced the death of a loved one.
What are some of the common behaviors we see among children who are grieving over the loss of a loved one?
I'm really glad you asked me that, because children grieve in such a different way than adults do. And so because they do, adults sometimes dismiss children that maybe they're not grieving or they're okay, but children act out much more in their grief, and they may not be able to verbalize how they're feeling, but it comes out in behaviors. They could act up at school, they can seem distracted, have difficulties concentrating, maybe get into a little bit more trouble than they used to. They also complain a lot of times of stomach aches, headaches, physical symptoms, because all of this emotion is churning inside of them and they don't know what to do with it.
Marcella Boyd-Cox, you're Chief Marketing Officer at the E.F. Boyd & Son Funeral Home. It's a funeral home that's been around since, if memory tells me correct, since 1906, something like that.
Something like that.
Started by your ancestors. Tell me about this Grief Awareness Day and your involvement, and what is Grief Awareness Day, and what's your involvement with all of this?
Well, Children's Grief Awareness Day was founded in 2008, actually in Pennsylvania, by the Highmark Caring Place. It's a resource center similar to Cornerstone, and they were actually working with schools there, and the kids there were so concerned about their fellow students, you know, friends that were grieving, that they pulled this all together and have made it a day to recognize children, because, again, children are, you know, they're devalued and sometimes they're overlooked. And, you know, in the whole process when you're making those arrangements or whatever, you know, children kind of get set aside.
And in the funeral home business, you see it perhaps on a daily basis with the families which come into your, into your funeral home.
So, again, you know, I got involved, some years ago, just trying to bring, because, you know, when you say Children's Grief Awareness, people are like, what? What is that? You know, it's just a day to highlight children and put the focus back on children, that they deserve to be, their needs need to be acknowledged too. It's really, you know, I was so impressed when I saw this. I said, yes, we got to get the word out. And, you know, they have a website and they have all kind of activities that they suggest people do, like they want people that day to wear blue. That's they have Hope the Butterfly, is their logo. And, you know, they wrap a whole series of days. You know, they count down the calendar from one year to the next. It's just an awesome website.
How do you help the children? How do you help the children at Cornerstone of Hope? How are you going to help the children through this? Because we are seeing, well, death is part of life, and they're faced with it, ready or not. Here it is in your life.
Right. Well, I think the first thing that people need to be aware of is that children need information just like anyone else. And it needs to be age-appropriate information, but helping them to kind of process and understanding to the best of their capability what has happened. Because if children don't get details, they fill it in with their imagination, and that can be really devastating. So we're starting to work with the schools around Children's Grief Awareness Day, because that's where we see a lot of behaviors coming up and difficulties with grades. And so we've connected with several schools in Northeast Ohio, and we've passed out this template of a flag. So children can draw a picture in there about a memory of their loved one, or they can draw a picture about a way that they feel other kids can get through grief and deal with the sadness and the pain of grief. And then we're going to
just draw the picture right in there about what they're feeling. They may not be able to find the words.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And so we do that a lot at Cornerstone. I'm an art therapist by trade, and so we use a lot of art and creative ways to help the children express their emotions, because they do have a hard time verbalizing that.
In our final minute here, I'm going to ask Marcella, take a couple of seconds and tell us what you want the public to do while we put the websites on the screen there, cornerstoneofhope.org or childrensgriefawarenessday.org, which is Thursday, November the 19th. Give us a thought on what you think the public ought to do.
Well, I really think that, especially on that day, the 19th, this is set aside because this is the beginning of the holiday season. This is a very sensitive time for a lot of people who are grieving. But reach out to that child and just sit down and talk to them. Ask them how they're feeling. Just acknowledge, because again, kids get overlooked. And, you know, like Laura was saying, people think, well, you know, they're okay. But they're really, you know, they're really not. They're hurting. They got that hole in the heart, just like an adult does.
And in our final 30 seconds, you echo that sentiment. That's
I do,
exactly
and that's why we are actually having a special event on the evening, 6 p.m. at Cornerstone of Hope and Independence. We're on Brecksville Road, and people can check out the website, but we're going to have an event at 6 p.m. and inviting families to come and participate in a ceremony there.
Give me an address there in Independence.
It is 5905 Brecksville Road.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
I can remember the first time that death hit my family, and I was just a little boy when I realized it. And somebody says, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. I remember that. Yeah, okay. Well, many thanks. Good to have you with us, Laura Saracen and Marcella Boyd-Cox.
Thank you so much for having us.
Once again, it is November the 19th at 6 o'clock. It's going to be at 5905 Brecksville Road at the Cornerstone of Hope facility. A big event there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Taking a break. We'll talk about MOTAP 20 years celebration after this. You're in touch with Kaleidoscope. I'm Leon Bibb. Good to have you with us. Minority Organ and Tissue Transplant Education Program, better known in Cleveland as Cleveland MOTAP, celebrates its 20th anniversary in November. Executive Director Linda Kimball is here on the left, and kidney donor and advisory board member Tanya Howard Grace is also here to talk about the services provided by MOTEP and the upcoming roaring 20th anniversary celebration. Good to have you with us.
Thank you for having us.
Linda Kimball, things are well at MOTEP, I'll bet.
Very much so. We're excited about our 20th year.
Yeah. Tell me about what it is primarily that you do. What's your primary mission at MOTEP?
Our primary mission is to raise awareness about the need for organ, eye, and tissue donation in the minority community. We've been implementing programs for 20 years in Cleveland, including having a Healthy Teens, Healthy Tomorrow Teen Summit, and signing people up to become organ donors. On average today, there are going to be 22 people who are going to die because there are not suitable donors for people to actually receive organs, eyes, and tissue donation, transplantation.
Tanya Howard, quite impressive. You are a kidney donor.
I am.
You donated one of your kidneys. We have 2 kidneys, each of us, born with 2, and you gave one away.
I did. I believe that's why God gave us 2.
You think so?
Give one
Tell me
away,
about that.
absolutely.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Very well, very well. Actually, thinking about this presentation last night, I had a little bit of angst and kind of saying, am I having a feeling like something's going on? And it's that war type thing where there's a feeling, but there really isn't a limb there. So that kidney is gone. The other one is operating perfectly well, and my recipient is doing fantastic.
You saved a life by doing what you did.
Well, you know, I don't know that I saved her life. I guess the doctors will say that, but I truly believe that the quality of her life is much better because of that donation.
I told you before we started, I said, God bless you for what you did, and you told me that God
already has.
Blessed you by doing this. Yes. This is the kind of thing that we need to see more of.
Most definitely. We need to educate the public about not only living donation, but also for, like yourself, to sign up to become an organ donor. We're out in the public, myself and our volunteers, our many volunteers, signing people up to become organ donors, because there is a need to actually bust the myths and misconceptions that people have about organ, eye, and tissue donations. There are so many different myths about, you know, if I sign up to become an organ donor, then the doctor will let me die, or etc. There's videos out there that we have to actually go out and give presentations at churches, at community centers, etc. And I see that you have your driver's license.
Yeah, we're going to show that in just a second.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I want to get out. We want to plug your 20th anniversary celebration as well. Tell me about that, because this is a fundraiser for you,
Yes, this is a fundraiser. We normally annually just have our golf outing, but because we are actually turning 20, we decided that we wanted to do something really exciting. So we're going to have our Roaring 20th celebration, and we're going to have it at the Tinkomville University Center. And we're going to have jazz music, we're going to have good food, we're going to have our sponsors there, we're going to honor our Dr. Daryl Thornton, who's with Metro Health, and we're going to honor him as our health champion. We're excited.
This is set for Saturday, November the 14th.
Exactly.
At 6 o'clock at the Tinkomville University Center, which is on Bellflower Road in University Circle, right there in the university area. And you were saying?
It's going to be an exciting night because we're going to have the ladies dressed up as flappers, and we're just going to have a really good time. We hope to actually create a buzz and awareness more about organ, eye, and tissue donation, but not only about that, but we want people to actually sign up that evening if they're already organ, eye, and tissue donors, so they can go back and actually go back to their houses and talk about it, but also to their co-workers and everything, so they can actually sign up too.
When she said people are going to be the women will be dressed as flappers, that's a 1920s style of dress.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
And the guys will be in big hats and all
exactly,
of that. So
exactly.
A lot of young people may not know.
That's very true.
Before my time as well. but you mentioned now we can all sign up to be organ donors, because when I pass away, and we are all leaving, when I pass away, they may take the organs that are good that somebody else can use, and you can just see it goes right at the bottom of your driver's license. I begin there. These are my driver's license, my driver's license, and I put a little art there. They put a little heart down at the bottom. Don't worry about my age. Don't worry about anything else. I'm not showing all of that. But that's all there. And that
Exactly.
we begin there, at least begin there.
Yes, exactly.
And we can save lives and make inroads in
Absolutely,
life.
and that's one of the reasons why I became a board member at MOTEP, to talk about being a live donor in addition to one when we pass away, because there are so many things that we can do to help people, and I try to tell everybody that I come across that I've done it, and they're all so shocked, but then it makes them feel a little more at ease that it is something you can consider.
Thank you for what you've done, both of you. Saturday, November 14th, 6 o'clock at the Tinkham-Veal University Center in Bellflower, on Bellflower Road in Cleveland, and a phone 229-6170, the number at the bottom of the screen, or go to clevelandmotep.org. More information on everything we're talking about, and you can purchase your tickets. Many thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on the broadcast.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take a break. Marsha Mockabee of the Urban League after this. We've kept her cards and records coming in. People saying, we want more of Marsha Mockabee. More of Marsha Mockabee of the Urban League. People are always glad to see you.
And I'm always glad to see them as well, Leon. And you know, when we're out in the community, not only do they tell me how much they enjoy, but they talk about how much they enjoy us and our interaction on this show. So we're a team.
You always got something on your mind. That's why they watch.
Well, listen, you know, we still got time as we're leading up to this November election. And I just want to really encourage our listening audience to really pay attention to the issues. We need to really research those issues. We really need to understand them, because often the language of an issue is worded so that it's not quite clear whether you should vote yes or no. And the yes doesn't always mean that it's the best thing, and the no doesn't always mean it's against. So you have to really pay attention to how it's worded and understand what you're really voting for.
What I always do is I study the issues and I study the candidates before I go to the voting booth.
That's
so I know
exactly
what I'm
right.
doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm not studying it in the voting booth.
That's right, because there's not time.
There's no time.
There's no time. And even if you do it at home, that's really good, because then you can really, you know, take your time, and there's still time to do online or mail ballot. But, you know, I think that for some of the issues that we have this time, we need to think from several perspectives. They have economic impact, they have social justice impact, they have health impact and quality of life. And as we're deciding how we're going to vote on those issues, we need to think from each one of those lenses as to whether it's going to be the best thing for us or not.
Words of wisdom always from Marsha. Take care, everybody, and be well. You're absolutely right about that.
This has been a presentation of News Channel 5's Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.